signal to teams that he would likely want to wait to see what happens over draft weekend before accepting a trade in a way that should also work for the teams, allowing them to go through a full draft process and make decisions on guys such as Colorado's Shedeur Sanders and Ole Miss's Jackson Dart, independent of Cousins' destination. Like, Cleveland is the spot that makes the most sense for Kirk Cousins. Like, that's the spot. And if Atlanta can pull a trade off and Cleveland goes Abdul Carter at 2, which is what many people expect them to do, they're going to be looking at this as an opportunity to...
Number 1 on your car radio preset and the new and improved iHeartRadio app.
WINCA in Miami, WMIB FM HD2 Fort Lauderdale. Free never sounded so good. Sanchez rockets one out to right center. He admires his work, and he leaves the yard.
Miami Marlins baseball is on deck.
Pitch to Connor Norby, ripped on the ground. That's a fair ball in the third base line. That got all the way into the corner. First pitch to Matt Mervis, left on left. He drills out to right and deep, and Mervis, 93 center cut, and Mervis did not miss it.
Marlins on deck. Brought to you by ADT, the official smart security partner of the Miami Marlins and Norwegian Cruise Line. Experience more at sea. Let's head out to the ballpark. Here's your host, Steven Strong.
Nice job, Julian. Welcome. Live from Lone Depot Park here in Miami, Florida on a Saturday afternoon in paradise. The roof is closed. We are comfortable in the air condition for today. You're listening to Miami Marlins baseball on the radio. It's game 3 of 162, and after a 4-air, what I dare say, sloppy game, the Marlins will look to retaliate after dropping game 2 last night 4-3. It's a pleasure to bring you game 3 of this 4-game set between the 1-1 Pittsburgh Pirates and your 1-1 Miami Marlins. Miami will see a string of southpaws over the next 3 days, and Bailey Falter will kick it off for the Pirates, 27-year-old in season 3 with the Buccos. Falter will go opposite 25-year-old right-hander Valente Belloso, who was arguably the Marlins' best arm in the second half of the season in 2024. He'll look to prove it up here in a full campaign. It all starts at 4:10 right here on the Marlins Radio Network. What's going on, everyone? Welcome. Thanks for making Marlins on Deck a part of your Saturday afternoon with Jack McMullen and 4-time World Series champion Jeff Nelson. I'm Steven Strom. Let's get you the lineup for the show. We'll hear from Clayton McCullough on Valente Belloso, who struggled a little bit in the spring, but we shall see what holds here this afternoon. Eric Wagaman will make the start at first base for the first time in his career. I got a little one-on-one with him this morning. He is in the lineup batting cleanup. We'll get you at the count with Bailey Falter and Valente Belloso. Jack will join me. We'll jump in. We got some good topics to discuss. We'll get to our Expo question of the day at Marlins Radio and Steve's guarantee, which fortunately was correct, but unfortunately, the Marlins did not lose. Let's start with Valente Belloso, who was a magician last season. There's no question about it. He was traded from Houston to Miami back in April of 2024 for Jacob Amaya. He was pushed through the system through AA, through AAA, and there he was making his first start in Kansas City, and he was really, really solid. A reliable arm in that rotation where there was so much influx with the starting rotation. Valente Belloso provided stability in 13 starts, pitching to a 3 ERA. He struggled a little bit in spring in a handful of starts and appearances, but here was Clayton McCullough on what he's looking for Valente Belloso here this afternoon.
I think Valente is going to get us as deep as he can. I think he's shown a rounded mix in spring training. Velo was up a little bit. We know what type of competitor Valente is, so big thing to have success today. So grabbing count leverage with multiple pitches early in the count. Getting ahead. So we expect Valente to go out there. We know he's going to compete and to get in the strike zone early and give himself a chance to get some some early soft outs.
What did you see from him during spring training? I know it's spring, but he did struggle a little bit. Did you feel like he was working on things and how it translates here today?
Yeah, I think he was. He was, adding with his repertoire a little bit in spring training, and just got the times that he struggled some is when he got behind and some balls got elevated, and then it's put him in and him and anyone else on the mound there in a tough spot. So the times when he was able to hop ahead and the ability to land his secondaries in the strike zone, use enough fastballs, to give a little bit of mixture there. That's when it felt like Valente had success that we know he's capable of.
All right, so that was Clayton McCullough on Valente Belloso, and he referred to, and I asked him about the struggles in spring because it is difficult to decipher what's real and what's not. In spring, this year, 5 appearances, 2 starts, 13 and a third, a 9 ERA, 14 earned runs. Now, we saw he could do it at this level last year in a handful of starts, 13 of them, but then struggled in spring. We'll see what happens here this afternoon, but Valente Belloso, due to injuries with Ryan Weathers and Edward Cabrera, he will get the start this afternoon against the Pirates. Let's break. We got a lot more to cover right here on the Marlins Radio Network. Eric Wagaman will join us next. He will bat fourth and play first for the first time in his career. 4:10 first pitch, Marlins Pirates, game 3 of this 4-game set right here on the Marlins Radio Network.
Miami Marlins fans, we
Just unleash. First pitch. Mervis takes upstairs, that pops off the catcher Bart's glove, and everybody up 90 feet, including Xavier Edwards, who comes in to score. For these violent swingers. 1-2. Otto lines one into right center. That's in for a base hit. Stowers around third. He will score no problem. Cruz's throw is coming home. It was on the fly there. And the throw to second is late to try and get Lopez, but he's in there. Pitch from Holderman. That one lined up the gut. That's in for a base hit. Otto around third. He's coming home. Cruz has no throw this time. And Dane Myers with an RBI single ties this game at 4 in the 8th. Second and third, nobody out. In the 0-2. Stowers rips down the right field line. That gets in, and the ball game is over. Kyle Stowers with a line shot down the right field line, and it's a walk-off winner for the Fish on opening day. Sanoja taps the plate. The Marlins mob Stowers in right center field. They rip off the jersey.
All right, with the hero here, or one of the heroes, Kyle Stowers. Take me through the AB.
Yeah, I just felt like runner on third, no outs, just trying to get that run in. And first 2 pitches kind of was babying it, just trying to be too fine with it. And so, for me, it was that last pitch was just kind of letting it go.
What a way to start opening day, huh? You get a walk-off home run, you get Sandy back, Clayton McCullough's first managerial win. What's this been like?
Yeah, huge congratulations to Clayton. First win as a manager. Awesome to get that for him out of the first game. It's just a lot of fun. A group that, maybe people don't have a ton of expectations with, but that's fun. That's great. We believe in ourselves, and that's all that matters.
How good does this feel for you personally, man? I know you came over from Baltimore. You struggled a little bit. You started to figure it out.
Just through the Bahamas and USA. Restrictions apply.
Thanks for hanging out with us on a Saturday afternoon. Fox Sports 940, also streaming on X and YouTube. Steven Strom, Jack McMullen, Jeff Nelson, those two have your call at 4:10. It's game 3 of this 4-game set. Marlins dropped game 2 last night. Otto Lopez launched his first home run, though. We'll have Bailey Falter toss for the Pittsburgh Pirates. He will go opposite Valente Belloso. We heard some good sound bites from Clayton McCullough on Valente Belloso, who again struggled in the spring, but has shown he can do it at this level, at least through 13 starts last year. This afternoon, we will get a chance to see Eric Wagaman, who the Marlins signed to a deal back on December 20th, 27-year-old, played with the Angels, 18 games. He got called up late in September, hit .250, 5 doubles, 2 home runs, and 10 RBIs. Again, he's making his first start at first base up at this level. He played a lot of third with the Angels and actually in left field a couple of times for LA. Got a chance to catch up with Wags before the game today. Let's hear what he had to say in our conversation.
I'm excited to get the first start and hopefully do something productive to help us win.
What's the 4-1-1 on Bailey Falter, a lefty? Obviously, you've been inserted into the lineup as a right-handed bat.
Kind of just, for me, I just want to make sure I'm on time for the heater. I think it can be a little sneakier than what maybe it shows on paper. I have not faced him, but just from talking to the coaches and some of the other guys that might play up a little bit. So we'll just try and be on time for that and react to everything else.
We've heard about some of the changes that the coaching staff has made as far as just everyday practice. How have you adapted and how have you liked it here as we transition into the regular season?
I love what we're doing here. I feel like all the challenging stuff that we're doing in practice, like whether your swing feels great off of it or if it doesn't, it's just a way to like get you prepared for the game, because there's going to be times where your swing doesn't feel well, but like you've challenged the heck out of it. So like going to the game, like it's just, I don't know, it's just like a mental clarity thing for me. Like I just feel like I'm ready to go.
You're able to transition easy, right? It's just like the everyday reps that I know it started with Peter Bendix, the competitive ABs. They just want to translate that into the game. So it's like whether it's practice, whether it's batting practice, whether it's a game, it all feels the same.
Exactly. And like in situations like this where maybe we are coming off the bench that certain day, it's like it's not like you haven't prepared yourself to come into the game. You know what I mean? Like you are ready to go every single day. And in the long run, it really helps.
Eric Wagaman with us now. Last one for you. You're a big guy, 6'4". You're going to play first base. Your first ever start at first. What have you been working on and just your adjustments to first base?
Yeah, I mean, I'm super comfortable over there. I played my first, 7 years of professional baseball over there. So, yeah, I'm going to hopefully give them a big target and, help the infielders out when I can. If the throw's not right there, maybe save them an error or two.
How do you stay nimble at 6'4"? What kind of exercise or what kind of work do you do?
Just make sure I move the feet, hopefully stretch out the hips a little bit. And, yeah, we just try and stay athletic.
All right, go get him. Thank you very much for the time, Eric.
Thanks, Steven.
He is the best, Eric Wagaman. One of my favorites early on here. He will bat fourth and play first base. I love his confidence and I love his personality. He is such a great dude. We're cheering for him here this afternoon and throughout the season. Let's break. We'll get you at the count with Bailey Falter and Valente Belloso right here on the Marlins Radio Network.
When you bundle renters and auto.
Last year at West Virginia, he didn't play shortstop. That one hit well by Griffin Conine and deep. Koperniak back to the wall. He leaps up and it's gone. Griffin Conine, first pitch ambush. And with a high arcing 2-run shot, the Marlins have a lead in the top of the second.
It was like a crossover and have them fall over.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Sanchez rockets one out to right center. He admires his work, and he leaves the yard. Ooh. Right center field, Jesus Sanchez, his first home run of the spring.
Oh, he crushed that ball. That ball was hit well. Backspun.
It is. Mentioned OPS just under 780. Nick Fortes drills one out to left and deep. Jose Barrero back to the track and the wall, and it's gone. Nick Fortes exits stage left. His first home run of the spring, and the Marlins bats starting to come alive in Grapefruit League play. First pitch to Matt Mervis, left on left. He drills out to right and deep, and Mervis leaves the yard for the second time this spring. 93 center cut, and Mervis did not miss it. Sousa, the left-hander, comes set. We have the 2-1. That one hit well out to center field and deep. Dubon back, warning track on the wall, and it's gone. Derek Hill leaves the yard to straightaway central. 2-run blast for the Marlins center fielder, and they double their lead.
Is here. Join your favorite on-air personalities for unique perspectives, in-depth interviews, and untold stories from on and off the field. The MLB Network Podcast, presented by New Balance, Sundays at 11:30 Eastern.
Hey, this is Ryan Weathers, and you're listening to Marlins on Deck with Steven Strom on the Marlins Radio Network.
Marlins Radio Network. Miami looking to bounce back after yesterday's 4-3 defeat. Awesome opening day. A setback yesterday, but a chance to get right back in this series this afternoon against the Pittsburgh Pirates. This is Marlins on Deck. Thanks for hanging out with us. Fox Sports 940. Julian Barbosa back in the Fox Sports 940 Miami Marlins Network studios. Streaming here on X and YouTube. Steven Strom, Jack McMullen, and Jeff Nelson. Let's get you ahead of the count. We'll start here with Bailey Falter, 27-year-old southpaw from Chino Hills, California. Heads into season 5. He did start with the Philadelphia Phillies and was traded to Pittsburgh. We'll get more on that in a little bit. This will be his third season with the Pirates. In 2023, went 8-9 with a 4.43 ERA, 28 starts, a career high, 142 in a third innings pitch. He faced Miami twice last year. First, on March 31st, struggled 6 runs over 4 innings, but then came back against Miami on September of the 11th, 7 1/3 of shutout ball, one of his best starts of 2024. The Pirates did trade for Falter back on August 1st of 2023 for Rodolfo Castro, who eventually went to Philadelphia. He features a four-seamer, a slider, a sinker, a curve, and a split. He is 3-0 in his career against the Miami Marlins with a 4 ERA, 5 starts for Bailey Falter against the Marlins. 6'4", the mechanics are key for him. Sometimes, with these bigger guys, they can start to get loose, start missing the zone. We'll see if Bailey Falter can settle in for Pittsburgh here this afternoon. Falter will go opposite Valente Belloso, 25-year-old right-handed Mexican, starts season 2 with Miami. Again, he was traded to the Marlins from Houston back on April 6th of 2024 for Jacob Amaya. Valente Belloso was pushed through the system, made a couple of starts here and there in Double-A, couple of starts here and there in Triple-A, was called up to face the Kansas City Royals. We really didn't know a ton about Belloso, but he started 13 games last season, was the best starter for Miami, making 13 of them in the second half for the Marlins. We touched on his spring. He did struggle 5 appearances, 2 starts, 13 1/3 combined innings, a 9 ERA, 14 earned runs. But you got to hope and you got to assume that he was working on things. We heard from Clayton McCullough. He did say that. And just talking about last year, because we just kind of gave you the record and we gave you the ERA, 14% K rate, 29% ground ball rate, both ranked in just the second percentile in 2024. He throws a four-seamer, a cutter, a changeup, a curveball, a sweeper. Our partner here, Jack McMullen, says it perfectly. He throws a bunch of different stuff in a bunch of different ways, and it goes kind of everywhere. So we'll see if Belloso, who has been coined the nickname the Magician because of his not-so-high velo, it has had an uptick in spring. He is at 92, 91 miles per hour. But originally, we saw Belloso about 89, 90 on that four-seam. We'll see if that can play a little bit of a factor here this afternoon against the Pittsburgh Pirates. So that's your matchup on the mound. Bailey Falter, a southpaw, and the first of 3 straight for the Marlins, by the way, against southpaws. We'll see Andrew Heaney, and then we'll see David Peterson of the New York Mets. So 3 straight southpaws the Marlins will face. He'll go opposite Valente Belloso here this afternoon at 4:10. Let's break here. Jack McMullen joins us next. We got a plethora of topics to go over. 4:10 first pitch right here on the Marlins Radio Network.
This unleash. First pitch. Mervis takes upstairs. That pops off the catcher Bart's glove, and everybody up 90 feet, including Xavier Edwards, who comes in to score. For these violent swingers. 1-2. Otto lines one into right center. That's in for a base hit. Stowers around third. He will score no problem. Cruz's throw is coming home. It was on the fly there. And the throw to second is late to try and get Lopez, but he's in there. Pitch from Holderman. That one lined up the gut. That's in for a base hit. Otto around third. He's coming home. Cruz has no throw this time. And Dane Myers with an RBI single ties this game at 4 in the 8th. Second and third, nobody out. In the 0-2, Stowers rips down the right field line. That gets in, and the ball game is over. Kyle Stowers with a line shot down the right field line, and it's a walk-off winner for the Fish on opening day. Sanoja taps the plate. The Marlins mob Stowers in right center field. They rip off the jersey.
All right, with the hero here, or one of the heroes, Kyle Stowers. Take me through the AB.
Yeah, I just felt like runner on third, no outs, just trying to get that run in. And first 2 pitches kind of was babying it, just trying to be too fine with it. And so, for me, it was that last pitch was just kind of letting it go.
What a way to start opening day, huh? You get a walk-off home run, you get Sandy back, Clayton McCullough's first managerial win. What's this been like?
Yeah, huge congratulations to Clayton. First win as a manager. Awesome to get that for him out of the first game. It's just a lot of fun. A group that, maybe people don't have a ton of expectations with, but that's fun. That's great. We believe in ourselves, and that's all that matters.
How good does this feel for you personally, man? I know you came over from Baltimore. You struggled a little bit. You started to figure it out. To have this moment this early on, what does it mean?
8 Colin Law. Tell him Axon Jackson told you to call.
We'll see if the Marlins can bounce back here this afternoon. 4:10 first pitch right here on the Marlins Radio Network. Thanks for hanging out with us. This is Marlins on Deck. I'm Steven Strom, the host of the program. Jack McMullen, Jeff Nelson. No Nelly right now. He's on TV, so we bring in Jack McMullen, who is always going to come on regardless. Jack, how we doing today, man? Ready to go?
Do you think Nelly feels better than us when he does the TV thing?
I think so. I I think he does.
That's unfortunate. He is working with our friend Craig Minervini,
who has a fantastic blazer. I think it's a gray blazer with a little blue tie. Is that what I'm seeing?
Gray
He looks
blazer,
really good.
Blue tie, and Clayton McCullough during his media availability today said, Craig, you look sharp. And I appreciated that. That was a tone setter with Clayton's
Very
media
good.
availability, which was awesome. But no, I mean, this is going to be a fun ball game today, man.
You know who I hope is sharp today is Valente Belloso. And it's tough, Jack, because when you're dealing with a veteran guy and he goes through the ups and downs of spring, you don't look too deep into it, right? Valente Belloso gave up 14 earned runs over 13 and a third combined. But then you parlay that with what we saw in the second half, 13 starts and a 3 ERA. What do you take away from Valente Belloso, particularly coming out and starting for the first time?
Yeah, so honestly, I think it's important to note that Valente is not a veteran guy. He's 25 years old,
right.
And this is a guy that is fighting for a rotation spot when this rotation does become fully healthy. And we knew that at the beginning of spring training. And Valente, he did look sharp in that first appearance. Granted, it was only an inning, and then he went 2 innings. He looked sharp again, but then he started to struggle. I thought the most encouraging start that he had was on March 22nd against the Cardinals in Grapefruit 100%. League play. The last one where he struggled mightily in the first inning and then got through the next 4, and he kind of kicked it into cruise control. I thought that was really important. And we saw Max Meyer do that a couple times as well during Grapefruit League play, where he would struggle in the first inning and then you settle in and go. What these guys want these pitchers to know, and by these guys, I mean Clayton McCullough, the manager, Daniel Moskis, Alon Leishman, the pitching group. What they want them to know is even if you allow 2 runs in the first inning, you can still make that a heck of a start by going 5 innings a 2-run ball or 6 innings a 2-run ball. A quality start is 6 innings and 3 earned runs. So there is an opportunity to be had there. I'd be curious to see how much of a leash Valente has today.
100%.
Especially with a rested bullpen, you would have to assume that we see Fauché and Bender at some point today because we haven't seen him in the front 2. But yeah, Valente, he's going to mix. And I talked about it during spring training with you. It's a bunch of different pitches that move a bunch of different ways at a bunch of different speeds. And he wants guys to be on their toes in a bad way.
Another thing to look out for, Jack, did you tell me Pittsburgh has stolen 8 stolen bases?
Yeah,
these last 2 games?
6 on opening day. Now, there were a couple of double steals and then 2 yesterday. They were running rampant on Sandy. I don't necessarily think it was Nick Fortes, if we're being honest.
No, it's times to the plate.
Yeah, it is times to the plate, and Valente is a little bit better when it comes to time to home plate, but definitely something to monitor. O'Neal Cruz is a guy that can absolutely steal 40 bases in a major league season.
Right.
I know he's
There's
6'7", 240. Like, he can do that. They have some guys that can run. G1 Bays at the top of the lineup today. He can run, but aside from that, you don't want a Brian Reynolds taking an opportunistic stolen base. You don't want to fall asleep with those guys. So certainly a correction to be made there.
So Belloso will go opposite. Bailey Falter, an interesting guy, 27-year-old in season 3 with Pittsburgh. What can we expect from him?
Do you want me to do the nerdy thing, or you want me to
do the nerdy thing, and then I'll try to understand it as a dummy?
So the nerdy thing is Bailey Falter extends down the mound very well. He releases the ball closer to home plate than pretty much anybody else in Major League Baseball, and he has a high carry fastball, meaning that he gets a lot of vertical break. And like we were talking about with Connor Gillespie yesterday, you will get a lot of swings underneath that 4-seam fastball from Bailey Falter. Now, sometimes that results in guys clipping balls and hitting homers.
Sure.
A lot of guys that have good 4-seam fastballs at the top of the strike zone sometimes have a home run problem. Even at the peak of his powers, Garrett Cole with the Yankees ran into some home run issues. Justin Verlander has run into home run issues as of late. I'm not comparing Bailey Falter to Verlander and Garrett Cole.
To give you a good example, yesterday, Otto Lopez taking Bednar deep on that top fastball.
Another guy, fastball with good vertical break at the top of the zone. Bailey Falter is going to rely on that 4-seam fastball, and much like Connor Gillespie, if he's right, it's a lot of pop-ups and a lot of foul balls back to the screen or back behind home plate on 4-seam fastballs. You're going to see it about half the time. The secondaries are so-so, but if the Marlins can really get on top of that 4-seam fastball and drive it, especially in the air, they can make this a great day to be at the ballpark.
A righty-heavy lineup for Miami today. One of my guarantees, Derek Hill to go yard. 14 of Falter's 17 home runs were given up to right-handers, so I think that's a good matchup there. Okay, making our way down. Last thing for you. The Pirates bullpen. Shelton did not name a closer, but we sort of saw the last 2 days. It was Bednar. He's not going to go back-to-back days, at least I don't think. What's the situation in Pittsburgh's bullpen if they get to these leverage type of situations?
Yeah, I mean, I would expect not to see Bednar. And to be honest, like if the last two have been auditions for the closer role, for sure, Bednar has unfortunately failed the auditions.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't record an out on opening day, and he allowed that home run to Otto Lopez.
Yep.
This is a two-time All-Star, but it's coming off a season with a 5.77 ERA. So this guy, I mean, like he hasn't been right over the last year plus at this point after being one of the best relievers in Major League Baseball in 2022 and 2023. So assuming no Bednar today, you might see a legitimate audition for the closer role. I would expect to see a guy like Justin Lawrence, who came over from Colorado.
Yeah.
He's a guy that is a low, like almost a side armor, and he sweeps a Frisbee slider across the plate. You might also see Dennis Santana, who we saw struggle a little bit on opening day, but I know they really like him.
He was up last night, late in the game too, in the bullpen.
He was up last night as well. So I would assume we'd see one of those guys in the 8th or 9th inning if the situation dictates.
Class is dismissed. Good job by you, Jack. Very sharp. We'll hear Jack and Nelly at 4:10. Let's break. X-Poll question of the day. Steve's Guarantee. It's all next right here on the Marlins Radio Network.
Most part. Last year at West Virginia, he didn't play shortstop. That one hit well by Griffin Conine and deep. Koperniak back to the wall. He leaps up and it's gone. Griffin Conine, first pitch ambush. And with a high arcing 2-run shot, the Marlins have a lead in the top of the second.
It was like a crossover and have them fall over.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Sanchez rockets one out to right center. He admires his work, and he leaves the yard. Right center field, Jesus Sanchez, his first home run of the spring.
He crushed that ball. That ball was hit well. Backspun.
It is. Mentioned OPS just under 780. Nick Fortes drills one out to left and deep. Jose Barrero back to the track and the wall, and it's gone. Nick Fortes exits stage left. His first home run of the spring, and the Marlins bats starting to come alive in Grapefruit League play. First pitch to Matt Mervis, left on left. He drills out to right and deep, and Mervis leaves the yard for the second time this spring. 93 center cut, and Mervis did not miss it. Sousa, the left-hander, comes set. We have the 2-1. That one hit well out to center field and deep. Dubon back, warning track on the wall, and it's gone. Derek Hill leaves the yard to straightaway central. 2-run blast for the Marlins center fielder, and they double their lead. 2 spot in the 6th. Makes it 7-3 Marlins. Bennett Sousa, his 0-1 pitch to Wagaman. That one hit well again. Out to
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLC ID number 174475.
Bednar set after the quick visit, and the first pitch to Otto. Lopez lifts that one out to left center field. O'Neal Cruz working back, warning track, wall. Otto Lopez leaves the yard.
That was Otto Lopez collecting his first home run of the season. He will bat second here this afternoon against the southpaw Bailey Falter. Miami will send out Valente Belloso. This is Marlins on deck. About 13 minutes away from first pitch, game 3 of 162. Marlins dropped game 2 last night, 4-3. They did win on Thursday, though, opening day, so a chance to get back into this series and lift it a little bit. Okay, where shall we start? I guess we'll go with our X-Poll question of the day. We know Griffin Conine is number 18 this year for his daddy, who is going to be inducted into the Marlins Hall of Fame tomorrow. Now, some people might not know, Jeff Conine didn't just wear 18. X-Poll question, what was the other number that Jeff Conine wore in a Miami Marlins or Florida Marlins uniform at the time? Make sure to vote at Marlins Radio. Okay, let's call for the stinger here. It's time for Steve's Guarantees with some explaining to do.
Batter up. Batter up.
Let's play some ball.
First pitch is moments away. Time now for Steve's Guarantees.
0 for 2 on opening day. Marlins win. Everything's good. Yesterday, Xavier Edwards, 2+ hits. Ding, 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 ding. Marlins lose. Now, what do I rather have? Of course, I want a Marlins win. So hopefully we can put it together. I like Derek Hill to hit his first home run of the season, and here's why. Bailey Falters, 14 of his 17 home runs last year given up were to righties. Again, Clayton McCullough put out a ton of righties. The only lefty that is in the lineup is going to be Kyle Stowers, who is going to DH. So a ton of righties to face Bailey Falter. I like Derek Hill to hit a home run here this afternoon. He hit 307 against Southpaws with 5 home runs and 15 RBIs in just 32 games against lefties last year. I like D. Hill to go deep here this afternoon. Folks, I hope you got the itch for first pitch, because when we come back, Jack McMillan, he paints the picture. Jeff Nelson, he's ready to rock. Starting lineups in first pitch is right around the corner. Thanks for tuning in to the Marlins On Deck pregame show. I'm Steven Strom. Let's flip the M together. Miami Marlins baseball is next. This is the Marlins Radio Network.